The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moving Your IBM Backups to Virtual Tape, a technical guide to configuration and deployment. My name is Axe Signer, Vice President of Electronic Storage Corporation. A little background on our company: we're located in Tulsa, Oklahoma, have been in business for over 30 years. We're a software developer, and here in our Tulsa office, we have programming staff and also technical support, customer service staff. We are an IBM registered business partner and a Microsoft certified partner. So this session, we're going to be evaluating your current IBM backup environment, planning for a virtual tape implementation, give you some examples, some connectivity things, live demonstration of configuration, operation, recovering tasks, including connectivity, configuration considerations, integrating with existing backup processes, backup and recovery workflow examples in a live demonstration of our particular solution. So, evaluating your current IBM backup, there's reasons organizations evaluate virtual tape and begin using a virtual tape is because elimination of manual tape handling, offsite tape rotation, labeling, inventory, reducing tape library management, library maintenance, media costs, or maybe even aging tape devices or tape libraries. The ability to simplify IBMI upgrades, migrations by moving off physical tape and using virtual tape, supporting your disaster recovery without transporting or storing tapes for backup and recovery for disaster recovery, backup directly to SAN, NAS, deduplication storage, which we'll go to in more depth. Extend disk-based backup strategies to IBMI. So that means that if you're currently, your other platforms are already backing up to disk, having the ability to extend that easily and quickly to IBMI for disk-to-disk backup, replacing physical tape. Improve ransomware resilience, recovery readiness, protect backup with built-in encryption of the backed up data. So planning for virtual tape implementation. So review existing IBMI backup workflows. Any changes that you can make in your current solution in terms of being able to store additional copies of your backups. Many of our clients can realize additional copies of their backups being that they can store to disk. Select a storage destination, and this can be basically several options: SAN, NAS, deduplication, cloud storage, giving you the ability to leverage storage that might already exist for your IBMI backups. Verify connectivity requirements, whether you're using currently fiber channel for physical tape or SAS, or would look at an iSCSI option for connecting a VTL solution via Ethernet instead of fiber channel or SAS. Define retention and recovery objectives, again mentioned earlier, where many of our clients are adding on to additional daily saves, weekly saves, because they can save to disk instead of having to handle additional physical tapes. Plan implementation and recovery testing, which is this is something that we offer professional services for offering installation, implementation, training, testing backups, testing saves. When you first implement the VTL solution, our goal is to have you up running backups to a VTL to disk day one from the installation. So, kind of an overview of backup and recovery for IBMI to a VTL appliance. Whether you use fiber channel or SAS connectivity, in this case, you're connecting just like your physical tape library or physical tape device, where you're able to back up the exact same processes that you do now, including if you're using iSCSI version of our VTL solution, where you're backing up databases, applications, files, folders, restricted state saves with fiber channel or SAS connectivity. So, being that you're going to be able to emulate tape exactly the way that you're using physical tape means that there's very little that has to change or would need to change on the IBMI side to run your backups and your restores. So you've got, with a VTL solution, determine your backup repository in terms of storage, data protection with encryption, replication, retention policies, which in the case of you're using any backup software like BRMS, you've got an established retention policy that you can implement with a VTL just like you do with physical tape. Monitoring and reporting of your backups and your replication of your backups, whether you're replicating to a DR side or to cloud storage or maybe even both. So the VTL being either a server appliance or a VM environment, um, and then that server storage can reside on that server for your backups. And again, we mentioned using SAN or NAS storage for your backups, where the VTL server can connect to that storage and write directly and read directly from that storage using our gateway solution, either with server or a VM. So the our latest version of LaserVault ViTL does utilize iSCSI connectivity. So this would be backup through standard Ethernet, whether it's 1, 10, 25 gig or higher Ethernet connectivity. um, this would be the case where you're wanting to utilize this in a cloud environment in terms of saves and restores, where Fiber Channel is not available, SAS is not available in the cloud for IBMI connectivity, where iSCSI gives you the ability to use standard Ethernet TCP/IP network connectivity to run backups. This solution runs in VM or physical server, where prominence would be probably VM for this environment, and it is Windows OS for the iSCSI version. But it does give you tape emulation. So your BRMS robot save jobs would be the same. Your go save commands would be available if you're using those within a CO program. Those backup processes and workflows are be the same as they are to physical tape. So that would mean that you'd be able to go to an iSCSI solution, just spinning up a VM, getting an Ethernet connection, which is going to provide with our VTL software tape libraries, virtual tape devices. And even with this solution, it also is compatible with the fiber channel or SAS connectivity. So any tapes saved either way can be used to restore from fiber channel connectivity or from iSCSI connectivity. Even using disk storage, SAN, NAS storage, deduplication appliance, cloud storage for iSCSI capability. So really it's just changing the connectivity from, say, a fiber channel or SAS connectivity to TCP/IP. So I'll go through a demo and show you some of the features and capabilities of our particular solution, LaserVault ViTL. So let's go there now. So this is our web interface. You have a secure username and password to access your tape libraries that are defined within LaserVault ViTL. This interface primarily used to configure, set up, uh, use the parameters and capabilities of setting up your VTLs, your tape libraries to present to IBMI LPARs. So we'll log in with our username and password. I'm going to go straight to libraries. I have two virtual tape libraries defined, each with one tape device. This would be the same you'd see whether you're SAS, fiber channel, or iSCSI connectivity. All of those connectivity options use the same interface as I'm showing here. So library one defined, we're going to edit the parameters. The library name basically gives this a library name to go and see and create tape inventory in library one over here on the left. So this name can be whatever you want. For emulating, we go LTO 2, 3, 5, and 8. A couple of things to note when you're selecting an LTO version. None of these have a storage limitation. So if your backup is 20 terabytes and you're using one LTO 5 tape, that would all fit on one LTO 5 because there's no storage limitation on any of these LTO versions. They also don't correlate with any backup speed, whether you're using LTO5 or LTO8. Your backups will still be up to twice as fast as going to either one of those physical tapes. Number of storage slots. So this is the number of virtual tapes that I can create within the tape library, which is 60. This number can go as high as 16,350 slots. So it's virtually unlimited number of slots that you can add into this tape library for your virtual tapes. Anytime you want, you can increase that number and add additional tapes for additional backup rotations. You can set a capacity on tapes if you need. We have customers that save journals throughout the day and they want the tape used for those saves to eventually fill up so that it rotates to a new tape for saving those journal entries. Now, backing up to disk is all about speed compared to physical tape. So this is some of the parameters that can be set to help increase backup speed to disk even faster than going to tape. So with default settings, as you see here on these cache parameters, this would mean backup speeds up to twice as fast as physical tape. If you're looking to test any of these can be tested and changed to give you the best backup and restore speed on top of what normal disk backup speed would be with our VTL solution. The next thing I want to talk about would be multipath capability. So when you're defining your tape library, you're able to define multiple paths to write backups, to store backups. I have two separate paths defined for this tape library. I have a local disk path. So in our data center, we have a demo server running LaserVault ViTL. It's got an E drive volume on it. So anytime I run a backup, I'm running it to that path. It's writing data to that path. Now that path could instead be SAN or NAS or deduplication backup appliance like Exagrid, Rubrik, Cohesity. So therefore that path would be writing directly to that storage. Whereas LaserVault as a gateway solution, you're writing to SAN or NAS storage wouldn't need disk storage on the LaserVault server itself. Instead, we point the tape library path to that storage so that it can leverage that storage for your backups on your IBM side. I do have a second path, so this means that I have the ability to move tapes from one path to the other. I can move what we call migrate. I can move tapes from local storage to Azure cloud storage because I have defined that as another path and I can move tapes to that storage if I want to. You can automate that process and migrate tapes periodically to other paths. Um, and anytime you can migrate the tape back to any other storage, and there's no limit on the number of paths that you can define for each of your tape libraries. Next, we have tape drives. So we have one entry for tape drives with control path yes. So what this is going to represent to your IBM I is TAP MLB V1 and TAP V1. Now the connectivity of this server to our Power 10 is fiber channel. And with fiber channel connectivity, you do have NPIV capability. So with each physical fiber channel connection on the LaserVault side, you can have up to 64 virtual tape devices per fiber channel connection. With iSCSI, there's really no limit. It would be just the limit of your, how many tapes you're going to use at the same time and your bandwidth and the number of Ethernet connections. So with fiber channel, you have up to 64 virtual devices per fiber channel connection. With iSCSI, it's virtually unlimited the number of virtual tape devices, whether they're libraries or tape drives, can be defined with that iSCSI connectivity over Ethernet. Down below, this would be your groups that have access to this interface with their username and password. So a group can be defined And this could be actually defined as multi-tenant, where multiple companies could be using one instance of our VTL software, and then a group for their users could be defined to access their own tape libraries. When you set up a tape library and you assign a group access, which would be one or more users belonging to that group, these are the features within the interface that they're allowed to do. So they're allowed to view media. So anybody logged in as administrator, which I'm currently logged in as, I can view the media library, create new media, delete media, change write protect of media, allow moving and migration of media. I'm not allowed to do that option. So you can create certain groups that have certain access and feature capability within each tape library that's defined. You can have a group have access to it, and then these settings are available on which features are that users within that group can perform. Let's talk about replication and retention. So LaserVault does have replication built in as capability of copying tapes to another location, such as cloud storage, disaster recovery location, or even both for that matter. And then there's also, we have a tape out feature that lets you copy to tape, or you can use the IBM to copy from tape to disk or disk to physical tape. So replication and retention, it gives you the ability to make copies of your backups in an automated process. So this was going to be completely unintended process where you've got automated jobs that once the backup is complete, certain tapes or all tapes would be replicated to one or more target locations. So I have examples of replicating to a DR site with network path, Azure, Microsoft Azure, Amazon S3, Wasabi. Those replication parameters have built in the cloud storage properties for the replication job so that it uses your company's cloud storage account, storage key, container name, and also the different tiers. You have options: hot, cool, archive, depending on where you want to replicate. And you can also set up email notifications to receive emails when replication jobs have started, completed, and if there was an error in communication, network communication between the location and the cloud storage, then you'd get an email of an error on the replication job. Up here in serial prefish, you can also set which tapes this replication job will run for. So if you put D asterisk, because all your daily tapes are prefixed with the letter D, then this replication job would run for your daily tapes, for example. If I set it to asterisk, then that's going to be basically all tapes apply to this replication job. I'm going to go to Azure. We've got compression, encryption, deduplication capabilities. So depending on which features you want to enable of the data, whether you want it encrypted, you want it compressed, deduped, different options there for doing that. If you're running go save commands or go backup, then you typically utilize local retention to remove tapes that reach their age based on number of days or based on number of volumes. So this gives you the ability to either delete tapes that have expired or initialize tapes that have expired. So if you're going to initialize a tape, that means that basically you're going to rotate that tape through at some point and run a backup to it. If you're going to delete the tape, then maybe what your process is that once the tape expires, it's deleted because automatically a new tape is created to run a backup every time a backup runs a new virtual tape. So this is just, really the ability to do all these particular features without handling a single physical tape ever again in your backup scenario for IBMI. You can also set up your remote retention of your backups. So those could be different than the local storage copies. So this gives you the ability to replicate automatically, perform retention. Now, if you're running BRMS robot save, those those products are going to rotate and initialize expired tapes based on their media policies for BRMS robot save. So you typically wouldn't use these retention settings, but you might use the replication capability to move or to copy tapes from one location to the other. But the ability to create multiple copies is the key here so that you can always go back to a backup in case one backup there's an issue with it. You have a copy of another backup, you have a copy of that backup that you can retrieve and restore from. And that is not something that you can really do with physical tape. Okay, so let's go to library one and take a look at the inventory of tapes we have in library one. So I can go through here and see all of my volume serials that start with D. I can also see the path in which they're located. So these are all my local path backups, tapes that can be used for backup and restore. Also show all my Azure tapes. So D, this volume 4 at one time was local when I saved to it, and then it was migrated or moved to Azure Cloud Storage. But as you can see, it's still here in inventory for me to go ahead and load into a drive, mount it into a drive, and do a restore or migrate it back to local storage. Up here, you can even select which tapes you want to see. I want to see all my local tapes, all my Azure tapes. So if you are using the migration capability where you're moving tapes to other storage or cloud storage, they're still in inventory. If you're using BRMS, they're still available in BRMS. And they can automatically be migrated back to local storage for save speed before the backup runs. So if you are migrating to cloud storage or any other location, tapes can be migrated back, initialized, and reused automatically. Creating a new tape, so we can go ahead and create a tape or multiple tapes. So we're going to create media. We want to create multiple copies. We want to initialize. We want to typically you'd use a 1, 2, or 3 character prefix to create those tapes, the starting slot that's available, and the number of slots available to create tapes. So I can create 46 more tapes, or I can go in and tell the tape library to have more slots. Therefore, I could create, up to 16,000 tapes with 16,000 slots. So in most cases, once you've got everything defined, your tape libraries, your paths in which you're going to save your data, that's really typically mostly what you would do with this interface. Because from that point on, all your saves and restores are from IBMI. So whatever your current backup procedures are, whether it's BRMS control groups, robot save, go save commands, and a CO program, those are going to work the same because whether you're using fiber channel SAS or iSCSI, you're going to be able to use those same backup procedures that you're running to physical tape. Those will also work in virtual tape. So really no change within your backup strategy currently. The only difference that you might have would be is you'd like to add additional daily saves, additional weekly saves to increase the number of tapes that you're retaining for each of those backups. You also have a screen here for replication jobs. So if you want to you have an audit, basically an audit list of all your replication jobs that have completed or any that are currently running. Okay, so deduplication in a virtual tape environment. Once backups are written to virtual tape, so deduplication is a feature, a module available within our product. Um, our product is software that was written here with our development team and also supported by our Tulsa support staff. So BDupe is one of the capabilities that you can implement within our solution for data deduplication. So you're going to optimize storage, reduce replication data volumes, support longer retention periods because your deduplication can be up to 40 to 1 compression. LaserVault, the standard license, does come with compression, which averages 5 to 1. When you add in the deduplication called bdupe, our particular add-on module, you're going to be able to increase your compression up to 40 to 1 because it is doing block level deduplication. And this is also reducing the amount of data that you're replicating from one site to the other. So deduplication available within LaserVault ViTL. So we're presenting a virtual tape library to IBM. You can enable integration with deduplication data protection platforms. We work with Exagrid, Cohesity, Rubrik, uh, Everpure, formerly Pure Storage, IBM iStorage, really any SAN or NAS solution that you may currently have in place or are looking to in the near future for other backups. You can integrate your IBM I backups using that storage with our gateway solution, meaning LaserVault can write directly to that storage and you'd be able to leverage that existing disk space for your backups. In fact, our latest business partner, our latest technology partner would be with IBM and IBM Defender Data Protect. So if that's something that you have in place where you've got available storage for IBM I backups, LaserVault can be that VTL to write directly to that storage. A quick testimonial from one of our customers, customer for over 7 years, great experience, they're saving restore times. Restore times are critical as well. So being able to restore data faster compared to physical tape, there's no seeking through physical media with virtual. Virtual can go right to the file marker within the virtual tape where the object or library is located. It's been saved, and the restore would begin immediately as soon as you click the enter key. That data is going to start restoring directly back to the IBMI and restoring, systems for Power 9 to Power 11, Power 10 to Power 11 migrations. VTL is a great solution for being able to move data that you've backed up from your Power 9 over to a new Power 11. We've got some resources within the GoToWebinar panel, sizing questionnaire, so we can offer you some pricing information. We can size out any storage requirement that you would need for your backups. We can even quote simply just software licensing, and our software licensing is perpetual, not subscription. So it's a one time license fee. Makes your investment, for the long term, it's a very small investment compared to, all of the costs that are associated with physical tape. It's a one time licensing fee, but our quote sizing questionnaire gives us some idea on what connectivity that you would need in terms of fiber channel SAS, if that's what you're using, or iSCSI, disk storage, um, server, how many servers or how many instances of LaserVault, whether it's a production uh, instance of LaserVault, a DR instance of LaserVault, a cloud instance. That would give us some idea of how to price out and quote the VTL solution LaserVault ViTL. Some additional testimonials from customers, technical specifications, and then LaserVault ViTL versus traditional physical tape are available to download. So some of the key takeaways, you're going to be modernizing your backup storage while preserving your current backup strategy. Even if you're wanting to improve your backup strategy, we talked about that. Plan storage, connectivity, recovery before implementation. So these are all things that we can work with you guys to, set up the perfect solution for all your backup requirements for IBMI. Continue using your existing backup commands and restore commands, just like using physical tape, and validate backup and recovery procedures before production deployment. So these are all of the different things that are going to be that can be happening in a VTL environment compared to your physical tape. And we're happy to discuss your current IBM environment so we can better see how our VTL solution could be of benefit. Our contact information, info at laservault.com, our 800 number, extension 1 for our sales department. Request a quote, demo. We would love to do an online demo with you. We also work with many IBM business partners through our resale channel. So if you wanted to work through one of your resellers, we've probably already partnered with them, or could if we haven't already. We have many of those that we work with. So we do have a drawing for wireless earbuds after the sessions conclude. So the winner of that will be notified via email. So we're out of time, but I wanted to thank everybody for attending today. If you please shoot us an email or give us a call if you'd like to talk more about our LaserVault ViTL solution, we'd be happy to help. And I want to thank everybody for their time today and have a great afternoon. Thank you.